Right now, there are over 8 billion humans on Earth. We cover every continent. We are, by any measure, a wildly successful animal. But hidden inside your DNA is a strange and unsettling clue. By the numbers, humans are one of the least genetically diverse large animals on the entire planet, and the most likely reason why is genuinely disturbing. There was a time, not so long ago, when our species almost ceased to exist. Start with the diversity problem, because it sounds backwards. There are 8 billion of us spread across the globe, looking wildly different from one another. You would expect our DNA to be all over the place. It is not. Pick 2 humans at random from opposite sides of the planet, and genetically, they are startlingly similar. So similar that it stops biologists in their tracks. Here is the comparison that makes it land. Take 2 chimpanzees from a single forest in Africa, 2 animals that could practically hear each other call. There is often more genetic difference between those 2 chimps than between 2 humans from opposite ends of the Earth. A whole species of us, 8 billion strong, carries less variety than one troop of apes in one patch of jungle. That is bizarre, and it demands an explanation. In genetics, low diversity points to one thing very strongly: a small starting population. If everyone alive today descended from a large, varied group, our DNA would be rich and messy. Instead, it is narrow and uniform, which means we all squeezed through a very tight gate. Scientists call it a population bottleneck. Picture a bottle full of marbles of every color. Tip it, and only a few marbles fit through the neck at a time. Whatever colors make it through are the only colors left. If the rest are thrown away, the entire future is rebuilt from that tiny handful. That is what appears to have happened to us. At some point, the human population crashed hard, down to a frighteningly small number of survivors. How small? Estimates vary, but they are all alarming. For long stretches of our deep history, the breeding population may have been just a few thousand individuals. One controversial study, published in 2023, went much further. It suggested that around 900,000 years ago, our ancestors collapsed to roughly 1,280 breeding individuals and stayed that low for over 100,000 years. Sit with that number. Not 1,280 people in a village, 1,280 in the entire world. That is fewer people than fill a small concert. For a window longer than our own species has existed, the whole future of humanity may have hung on a group you could fit into a few buildings. If a bad enough year had come along, there would be no humans, no cities, no you. What could squeeze a species down that far? The honest answer is we are not certain, but the suspects are familiar. A brutal swing in the climate, an ice age tightening its grip, turning Greenland to desert and starving the herds we lived on, disease tearing through small bands with no immunity, and one of the most famous theories of all involves a mountain exploding. Around 74,000 years ago, a supervolcano called Toba erupted in what is now Indonesia. It was one of the largest eruptions in millions of years, blasting so much ash into the sky that some believe it dimmed a sun for years and plunged the world into a volcanic winter. The idea, still debated, is that this catastrophe may have pushed already struggling human populations to the very edge. Whatever the cause, the takeaway is the same. For long stretches of prehistory, we were not the dominant species we imagine. We were rare, we were fragile. If a modern conservationist could have counted us, we would have been listed as endangered, a species clinging on, one disaster away from blinking out for good. And that near miss is still written all over us. It is why your DNA is so similar to a stranger's on the other side of the planet. In a very real sense, every human alive is a close cousin, all of us descended from the same small group of survivors. It is a kind of family resemblance stamped into the species. We are all, genetically, one big extended family that nearly did not happen. It has a darker side too. Low genetic diversity can be a weakness. When a population is this uniform, it shares the same vulnerabilities, the same weak spots a disease might exploit. Part of why certain illnesses can sweep so easily through humanity is that underneath the surface, we are all remarkably alike. The bottleneck saved us, but it also left us a little exposed. But here is the part worth holding on to. That tiny, desperate population did not just survive, it came roaring back. From a few thousand survivors clinging to existence, humans went on to spread across every continent, build cities, leave the planet, and number in the billions. We are not the descendants of a dominant, unstoppable species. We are the descendants of the ultimate underdogs. So the next time the world feels crowded, remember how close the whole thing came to never happening. Every face in every crowd, every person who ever lived, traces back to a small band of survivors who held on through a catastrophe we still do not fully understand. You are not just here, you are the unlikely result of a comeback that nature very nearly canceled. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and tell me what near disaster you want to survive next.